This is day 534 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. If you'd like to sponsor come share more of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, please contact me directly. Be greatly appreciated. Please Siman Shin Chav Af, Yudala to Chav Beis. It's a short Arab Shabbos, so we'll have to do it a little bit quicker than usual. Yudal Mutar Chal Basim Babusha or Tzli Dak you'll have to cut cooked meat or roasted meat finally, but sakim with a knife, only by shit, sometimes the rosh can be like I said, the Tochen goes without saying according to the Pesach hold that there by vegetables. There's no prohibition of toichen. There's mutter. Alafilo assuming sheishkan miracles. We also hold there is grinding. There is grinding by vegetables. Come nevertheless, but in our playing double, I got to make a carcass. It's going to be something which grows from the ground. Have a bus about it, but animal meat, lo shah get a mapchina kavan. There's no such parameter. L'chein mutter afshalo chol after for its missile. Even not going to eat it immediately. Alafilo mishana yochol yilos kach. And even somebody can't chew it unless it's ground up, so to speak, finally. Mutter is permissible. Because it's not considered grinding at all. Now let's go cut raw meat very thinly in front of birds, which are going to eat it, chickens, I guess. The Mishnah says you should crush them in a plate or on the table, and similarly he says about peppers. I'm not sure how peppers comes into this, but that's what he says. Or maybe I'm looking at the wrong Mishnah Berurah. Yeah, but the wrong Mishnah Berurah. He says that's specifically by kosher meat, by busting the veil. It's you don't have to cut up from the chickens even very, very finely. Okay, that was correct Mishnah Berurah. Okay, since they can't eat it without being cut up, they're making you food when you put it in front of the when you do it that way for the chickens. So also Shabbos not allowed to make food for an animal on Shabbos. Aye, what do you mean? It's okay to prepare food in front of an animal on Shabbos. Come, also. To chop it up finally, it's not good. And Mishnah Berurah says it's okay to chop it finally if it's for immediate use. But the Arukh HaShulchan is bewildered by this. It says and he's not sure why there should be such an issur of hachara for the in this case specifically dak should be also. Mishnah Berurah just says it's also. Okay, but the Taz in fact allows chopping up finally in front of the chickens. It brings out brackets here. Something about extraction. By extraction, an animal is considered to be gulei karka, such as for milking such purposes. I don't know the comparison. They're extracting milk from meat, milk from flesh. What does that do with grinding? Tesla. Because says seafood also we grow. You're not allowed to scrape cheese or grate cheese. Some sort of a comb, which like implement. Rebison or turkey, these are graters. Not because there's grating by cheese, it's like being disrespect. But since this is a kli which is designated for grinding, because that you grind on it turnips, radishes, and horseradish. Also, as also shum davar, not allowed to use it for anything else. But the sakim mutar, sakim, I'm not sure it's not clean shum b'achtul iser. I'm not sure. I guess maybe it's muktzah machmas chesron kis. But in a knife you're allowed to cut into small pieces. I feel like kosh even it's hard cheese mutar. Only this scraper grater. I feel like even very small. Also, it's forbidden. Chop it with an axe, some gear or a saw. You can use a hammer to cut a pressed cake. And you can use the saw in order to saw the cheese. Test 9. Pulver. I guess pulver comes from pulverize. I assume it makes you pulverize into sawdust. That's grinding. The chayim fire is for upright, so to be grind a clump of dirt. Chayim shouldn't toichen. It's grinding. Chayim fire sativa says you should grind dry mud or manure. Chayim for so to be grind coals on fire klipa sheochin or peels of food stuffs. Anything else? And therefore, if you have mud which is used to clothing, also the gore, you can't remove it to have a teichen, because grinding, simon shin beis, is bar and shum. We explained previously. Yud zayin. Lisha avi hamalacha, kneading, Kneading, is a hamalacha. The Mishkan was in the Mishkan of Samani when they made the Samani. We used to be Yushamadi Klal Gadol. Hahin the Gava Girbasin, somebody who needs here says bracket subin bran, offer dirt, kilurin, some sort of ointment, malugma, another type of remedy, salmon morning, these herbs, chayv shemash is chayv because of kneading. Halosh hamakatef va'oreh kulon yesh v'hem mishum losh, and then he's going to explain the yor. Kodem zeh omer, before it says a shul is a shum, somebody who grinds garlic, and Mosil and Mashkin puts beverages on it. Chaim mishum lash is also like it's needing. Chaim b'sikrish mine when you put water into ink. Chaim mishum lash, it's also needing. Vu means seven. That's a type of coloring. That's when you when you knead it and you make it into one clump. They told us that what are the tolados, the derivatives of lash, that's shaping the bread, give it shape. That's when you put in egg yolk or whatever you put on, egg whites or whatever you put on in order to give it a shine. Because of the total Lisha Magabo's offer, he writes the derivative of Lisha is kneading dirt. Ayin Sham. Klarmi the Avam Lacha Lisha Batik offer. I think it's probably say the Lisha Batik. Yeah, the Amalacha is in dough, real dough. Vafrachom, which is buying close, and dirt and everything else is tolada. The shir lisha, the shir which you chayev, kigogeres, the yisa, it's a day's worth of the dough, shumachal adam, because it's a food stuff for human beings. The bafar with dirt, shir kderesos pi kushil surface stuff to make the opening of the crucible of goldsmiths. Also, which is like the same shear as your chayav for being motziyah, which is very shimon. The chayin kol echad have a shear hotzah. The shear for losh is the same shear as your chayav for hotzah of that substance. Your ches kachsham ramam engibul befer, ashes cannot be needed. V'lo gas nor thick sand. V'lo mursan, that's a very coarse brand. V'lo b'yachayotze behem, and nothing similar to that because they don't clump. No saying zereshum shein, somebody who puts seeds from sesames or zarbishna or flax seeds, chayotze behem, other similar things in water. Chayim mishum lush. Here's chayim mishum sarvin. Neat things ever said they get mixed up and cling to each other. Kamshon. For having the sequel of the Riva of Texas, Amash Kosashin Kibo Befer, he says that there's no kneading but by ashes. The other on the contrary, by ashes, even just putting water is lisha. You don't have to knead it after that. In that respect, it should be like sesame seeds and flax seeds, where you don't even mix it, you're chay because of blush. Machlok completely was studying the Parakama, and Shama says do Machlok studying the first parak of Shabbos, but places say but Shuma of a smart kosukah rivet. They don't show us the Rambam Shpasik wasn't able to Gibel, maybe Shami Shevenu. You can't ask for on the Rambam that he says Morsa is Emushim Gibel. Then we see that Subin there is Gibel. They're both brand. They should assume the Chud and Morsa Lechud. The two different types of brand. Morsa and Abba same as Subin. Morsa is more coarse than Subin. Kavur Perk based the Chawa. Came before so Perk Glor and Sham. There are sources for that. It's a different type of brand. Gamursa Chlokim and but even by Morsa, than those who argue with Bar Simon Shin Chav Dal be explained later on. You test because around Ber Chav Megabel Chayv Shmulosh, somebody who is Megabel, who clumps together, is Chayv on account of lush. And therefore you don't come to clump together a lot of toasted flour. Because you might come to need untoasted flour. You can knead toasted flour little by little. But grain which is less than a third of its growth, seems the word missing there. They took it and then they ground it in a coarse way. It's like sand. Then you go shesisa. You can knead from it in vinegar. I think it was a remedy. Bushi arachim should be soft. It's also, but if it's hard, it's also. because it looks like you're kneading. So and you have to shinui. Ketzai. Hasan no sin shesis. First put in the sheets, this grain. Haran the commentate put the vinegar. Ad kanashana. Better dvar means to say the main kali ben shesisa and lisha. The toasted grain and this unripe grain are not subject to lisha. Gam shesisa kali. And the shesisa is also toasted. Kali mitzvah gemara, but kali was what we call toasted, complete, full grain. Shisa mitzvah shlish, and shisa is this unripe grain which is toasted. Umar kali, what is kali? So kemashel tfuah. This is a flour of grain. Shisyabe shen kuli is betanor, which became dry when it was by being toasted in the oven. But also kemachol matok, and that flour is always sweet. The same shem my melach, and it's mixed with oil and water and salt. Therefore, toasted grain from ripe grain, even though it's not shy to being kneaded together, clumpy together because it was dried in the oven. Never, the creature shouldn't put a lot together in a solid, only a little bit, because it might come to it with absolute grain. As you call memory also because it looks very much like real grain. But the shesisa which doesn't look like true flour at all, you're allowed to clump together even a lot. But if it's hard and looks, which means I guess it makes it look more like regular flour, so it needs to be with the shinui. It's different opinion. So if it's thick, also you can only knead it very little. If it's soft, they can do a lot with the shinui. What's the shinui? First put the flour, and then the vinegar. Because they do vice versa. He doesn't distinguish between the koli and shasis. He includes everything in shasis. Vava sul garmer bay, and if it's thick, it's also altogether. If it's a lot, the rackle shin, if it's soft, you need a shina. But he says he's not heti tivei Rambam. He says it's copies Ram El Sharabenu. Haramon Makom Shikosava Shaydei Shina Mudar Bay. Where he wrote that by shini allowed to a lot, he gave Afil Barach and said even by soft. Aisham, but Afil Barach sort shinu. Even soft. It means even soft because of shinu. If it's thick, Lamahani shinu doesn't work. Plus the Gabarak Ma, and allowed to knead a little bit. Now you don't call it and you'll do a lano cloud. We don't have this flour nowadays anyway. Rakesh Mom is a matzah kedush, but you learn for this matzah meal, which we do have. Hako says the kamak, which goes back into a flour, and then shakor matzah meal. Vale Dina Sosis, it's certainly like this Shosis or Koli. Can also Lucia Shabbos are better now allowed to knead alive on Shabbos Gam Lamat so Shinikish, but she's able, but you have to make a Shinoi. Yeshom, some say I feel that they Shinoi, that even by Shinoi it's no good. It's a task. Okay, it's not true. Okay, Pastor was Dashin, Chayotzi was Dashin, is lenient, because it should die Shin from Chazal. It's never the Shin that Chazal said, we take a Kamakilo to put first the flour, in this case, the Matzmel Chakachamashkin, and then liquid. Liquid as long as the consistency which comes out is loose. This is according to the Torah. Mishabura seems to be mashma for a little bit, even with there's no chino, even with a thick consistency, which is a pretty big kula. This also has toasted oatmeal on Shabbos. Right? Instant oatmeal you can make it, but it has to be below so raka. Bracket says here, Ulanius daiti near the matzah kedusha kilo kamikoli. He wants to say matzah is even more lenient than toasted grain. So it's been kneaded once. Just like there's no grinding after grinding. Kach efsher and lishar chalish. Perhaps there was no kneading after kneading. Sorry. Chavav da you should know the Gemara yeshkluk the Gemara has a machlekes. The Tanoi was putting water into flour in chayv yad, and chayv immediately when you put it in to zelash, and you chayv achagav, you only chayv when you start mixing it. When you mix it, right? Rabbi Shmuel did miyad says samay chayv, meaning chayv when you put water. But it's Rabbi chayv achagav. It says no, not until you mix it. Plus Karif Rambam Rosh Rabbi Yossi, not until you mix it. Comes out to Rabbi in your can. That seems the Rabbi holds away as well. How about say B'Truah plus the Rabbi v'chein your das smak v'smak. According to this base in Yushan, which he said, that in crushed garlic, ground garlic, there is kneading. She's careful when you grind garlic on Shabbos. Not put a little bit of liquid in it, which is going to make like lush. But rather grind and put it immediately in the food. Kamashchika asur b'Shabbos. Also, you can't grind it on Shabbos because of the plechet. And my shochem Shabbos less was ground for Shabbos. If you allow not, you have to the sakin. Cut it with a knife and then I'll put the food that way. Chabes, Kasser Ratzim Bali Shulchan Sif Teflav Sif Design. Chaylo Shaloshim Erev Shabbos mustard which you need it for Shabbos. L'malcha Yochel Arvo Ben B'Ab Ben Kli. You can then mix it again the next day with a hand or even with a tool. Those in total that you put in honey to make honey mustard. You shouldn't to mix it. He says explains in the brackets. You klamar b'koch. Don't mix it strenuously. And mix it gently. Shchilayim shlocha be'erev Shabbos. This is some type of crescent which we don't really have. The malcha knows the yam b'chom. The next day put in wine and vinegar. Don't mix it vigorously, but rather just regularly. Also, God, which you crush from before Shabbos. Malcha knows the same pool of grease. The next day you can put in beans and other legumes. Mix it lightly. The Yeshmin way of a kav. Some say you shouldn't even use a spoon. I'll be out a hand. Yeshmin, some say the other shoyla arab mashkim b'chadal. Now you have to mix beverage with mustard, dafkush, and also mibadyan. So you put it there before Shabbos again. Shabbos also they let's say smash b'chadal. But Shabbos now let's put any liquid into the mustard or b'shum akdushim or in the crushed garlic. B'shum wash because of lush. And also if you put the food first, karka chametz and the vinegar or yain or the wine, mar b'etzma, and you mix it with a finger. Sure, it's missile. The Avishina come out. She said, "It's like a shina like a shisa." B'chein lagim ahead latir the shina where the minute is mounted to a shina. Among shasol last those came b'chol place you do this on a weekday. You take b'Shabbos that way. And Shabbos do the opposite. Shabbos chametz chila for him to make a first chayil oichel, and he's the Arukh HaShulchan is going to explain that tomorrow.